You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today's Friday. 5th day of June, 2026. Everybody's been working for the weekend, and wow, here it is. Got plans? Love to hear about it. Thanks for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first broadcast is our live training room. So to get in there, you got to be a member or taking the 1-week free trial. This broadcast, on the other hand, is open to the public. Everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link, so at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit of doing it that way is you immediately have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you do want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. It's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 3,000 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Now, obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to. But if you're new, it is a great resource to have at your fingertips because it allows you to see how we've evolved over all these years, day by day by day. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen is our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. Michael will join us at the top of the hour, roughly 1 p.m. Eastern, for a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room. It was a good day. And then do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. Right now, we're going to start where we always do on the afternoon broadcast, with our daily devotional. The topic that we're on right now, we've been on it for almost a month and we still got a little ways to go. Everyday faith. It's that important. Today's scripture is 2 Corinthians 5:14. I'm going to share it with you from the NIV translation. For Christ's love compels us, because we are convinced that one died for all, and therefore all died. 2 Corinthians 5:14. Paul does not say duty compels us. He does not say fear compels us. He says the love of Christ compels us. Compulsion is not external pressure. It is inward constraint. It is the result of being ruled by something greater than yourself. Christ's love does not remain contained. When it governs a person, it presses outward. Silence cannot remain permanent where love rules. A heart gripped by Him cannot stay turned inward. To be compelled means you no longer belong to your own comfort. His love directs you. It moves you towards people, not out of obligation, but because His love compels you to speak. Today, move towards one person you would normally overlook. Begin a real conversation. Stay present in the moment and let love lead. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, our prayer today is that your love, not our wants, needs, desires, duties, but that your love would govern us in everything we do. We do not want to live this life unmoved by the power of your Holy Spirit. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen, and happy Friday. Now, when we look at the charts, that's not going to be such a happy thought or sight. Hey, but it is what it is, right? It's the truth about trading. And it's not anything we haven't been expecting. It's just when it finally comes to pass, it feels like, But if you've been tuning in on a regular basis, you're ready for what happened yesterday, what's happened so far today, and what very well may continue to happen. And it's in these downturns that you find your best opportunities. So, again, let me give you the numbers from around the world, starting here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow down 369 points. The NASDAQ down 695 points. It's over 2.5%. S&P 500 down 118 points. Well over 1.5%. And the Russell 2000 down 62 points. Well over 2%. In the commodity basket, crude oil down $2.20, trading 90.87 last. That's a drop of almost 2.5%. You think that would have sent the equities higher, but well, when we go to the chart, you'll see what we're dealing with. Gold down $146.80. trading 43.58 last. That's a drop of 3.25%. Silver down $5.15, trading 68.81 last. That's a drop of almost 7%. It may get a lot uglier before it gets any prettier. In the Asian market at the close, the Nikkei fell 882 points. That's well over 1.25%. Shanghai dropped 30. Hang Seng fell 291. That's well over 1%. In the in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 7, the DAX down 171, and the CAC down 26. So we had a red day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK, thanks to those 7 little green points on the FTSE. But it is definitely a big red radio Friday here in the US of A. Let's take a look at some headlines. Stocks falling today, with tech leading the way down after the release of the May jobs report, which showed that we added 172,000 jobs. Now you think that would be good news, right? Well, this is not your father's market. Once upon a time in a land far away, good news sent the market higher. Bad news sent the market lower. Kind of makes sense, right? Well, then along came a thing called the Federal Reserve. So the fact that we are showing strength in the job market, the Fed sees it a little different than you. You and I see that as good news. Hey, woohoo. People got jobs, a lot of jobs. But the Fed sees it as a reason to raise interest rates. Or one more reason. Yeah, I know. Doesn't seem fair, but that's the truth about the markets. The May jobs report blew past expectations for job growth, with U.S. employers adding 172,000 jobs last month compared with the economists' expectations for around 88,000. We more than doubled it. And the unemployment rate held steady at 4.3%. But the strong report also fueled bets on a rate hike from the Federal Reserve at some point this year, with the labor market stabilizing as inflation runs high. Traders are now fully pricing in a rate hike from the central bank by the end of the year, even as President Trump continues to call for cuts, as Kevin Warsh, his appointee to chair the Fed, takes the helm. The S&P 500 is at risk of snapping a historic weekly winning streak. The benchmark index is looking for a 10th straight week of gains, which would be the longest run since 1985. Now, I keep telling you, trees don't grow to the sky, neither do the markets. Broadcom, AVGO, is the symbol. Their earnings sent shockwaves through the AI trade, and shares continued their sell-off today, while chip makers broadly saw sharp declines. Broadcom's not a chip maker. What do I got? Do I have Broadcom up here? No, I don't have it on my screen, so I can't tell you how much it's down at the moment. Meanwhile, the fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran and reports of stalled negotiations continue to fuel uncertainty on Wall Street, even as President Trump assures that talks are in the final stages. You know, love President Trump. I really do. But I'm starting to have a little bit of concern here. He says we could have a deal on paper as early as this weekend. But if we can't stop shooting at each other during a quote-unquote ceasefire, I mean, so we put something down on paper, and the one-legged gay Ayatollah signs it. Okay, then what happens? Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. We just keep shooting at each other. Trump is at some point going to have to bite the bullet and just go finish the job he started or walk away from it. I don't think he wants to do that. So, maybe he has some huge master plan and he just hasn't bothered to share it with us. So, we'll see what happens. Elon Musk is poised to become the world's first trillionaire. SpaceX debuts next week, with the company's target IPO price valuing his stake at a considerable $866.5 billion on paper. On Wednesday, SpaceX said in a filing that it will seek proceeds of $75 billion from its IPO, a record amount for any IPO. In the filing, the company said it would offer 555,555,555 shares. That's 9 fives at $135 each. It's an unusual move not to implement a price range and offer a set price, perhaps because demand for SpaceX stock is so high. Musk holds approximately 42% of SpaceX's equity through a dual-class share structure that grants him roughly 82% of voting control via Class B stock. At the $135 IPO price, the updated prospectus values that equity stake at $866.5 billion. Richest man in the world is about to get a whole lot richer. So, how do you buy SpaceX stock? This is the countdown that tops them all. The SpaceX IPO is set for next Friday, June 12th. And hopeful investors are anxious to grab a share that will likely be the largest stock debut in history. Meanwhile, Anthropic and OpenAI are busily preparing for their own IPOs. Anthropic is scheduled for September. SpaceX stock will be available through 5 brokerage firms, including Charles Schwab, E-Trade, Fidelity, Robinhood, and SoFi. Each firm will allocate its shares according to its own investor criteria. The SpaceX initial public offering is expected to trade under the ticker symbol SPCX on the NASDAQ exchange. Elon Musk has once again chosen an unconventional path by rejecting the usual IPO price range. Instead, the rocket and satellite company is seeking a fixed $135 opening share price to raise $75 billion at a $1.75 trillion valuation, though that can change up to the night before the IPO. So you want a shot at buying some of the 555 million shares being offered? Here's how the process works. While each brokerage firm has specific requirements for clients to invest in IPOs, the process generally works as follows. You'll be required to complete an investor profile. You will be provided a prospectus detailing the stock and including a company profile. You will place a conditional offer specifying the number of shares you wish to purchase, typically a minimum of 100 shares, and the maximum price you are willing to pay per share. However, this does not guarantee that you will actually get the shares. You will want to ensure you have sufficient cash in your investment account to cover the cost of the stock purchase. Now, broker requirements for the SpaceX IPO. Here's what we know about the investor qualifications required by each firm offering SpaceX IPO shares. While this is the information we could gather publicly, you'll want to consult with the firm of your choice to confirm the details. Charles Schwab requires a minimum brokerage account value of $100,000. E-Trade, no minimum portfolio size. You must meet regulatory and account criteria, be a U.S. resident, have an active account, and pass an investor profile questionnaire. Fidelity requires a retail brokerage account with a minimum value of $500,000. Robinhood allocates IPO shares through a randomized selection process among those who submit requests. Robinhood notes that regular brokerage accounts are eligible. However, retirement accounts such as IRAs, custodial accounts, and joint or managed accounts are not qualified for the SpaceX IPO. And over at SoFi, you must be a SoFi member and have a self-directed investment account. There is no minimum balance required. Sounds like SoFi is probably the simplest way to go. Now, of course, I've given you ways that you can get a piece of the pie today. You don't have to wait till next Friday. I've given you a number. Kathy Woods has a fund, ARCVX. And I don't have my little cheat sheet in front of me. XOVR is another one. I've given you several over the past few months. So if you have any interest at all, you should probably already be in. Now, you're owning shares by proxy, okay? These ETFs, these mutual funds, they hold a lot of private shares. And when it goes public, you won't directly own shares in SpaceX. And I brought this up yesterday. The lion's share of SpaceX revenue actually comes from Starlink. So when you buy into SpaceX, you're getting Starlink and XAI. So at $135 a share, it seems pretty cheap. Or should I say inexpensive. So you can own today by proxy, or you can wait to the IPO and try to get lucky, or you can wait for it to trade for a week and buy the pullback. American consumers have kept the economy afloat for years, even as inflation, high borrowing costs, and rising grocery bills squeezed household budgets. But some of the country's biggest corporate leaders are now warning that shoppers may finally be hitting a breaking point. Kraft Heinz CEO recently offered one of the bluntest assessments yet. They're literally running out of money at the end of the month, he said in a recent interview. We're seeing negative cash flows in the lower income brackets where they're dipping into savings. Now, keep in mind, only a small percentage of Americans actually have savings. The company behind brands like Heinz, Kraft, and Philadelphia is now cutting prices on some products that had grown too expensive, increasing promotions and rolling out smaller package sizes at lower price points. Callahan, the CEO, said that the industry has endured years of volume degradation because consumers had to absorb too much price. Remember, under Biden, we had 9% inflation. Another inflation shock, he warned, is the last thing households need. We could see more significant inflation, and nobody wants to see that. Now, Callahan's warning didn't come in isolation. McDonald's CEO weighed in and also flagged three pressures pointing to its heightened anxiety. CFO Ian Borden noted that higher gas prices are hitting lower income households especially hard, and he expects that pressure to continue. And it will, until we finish this business. And I don't mean just get some document signed. I mean finish the business in Iran. And then there's the Whirlpool CEO, who recently told analysts that the war in Iran amplified consumer concerns about the cost of living. Even the fitness industry is feeling the impact. Planet Fitness shares just suffered their biggest drop on record after management slashed its revenue outlook and canceled planned price increases. It's rough out there. Financial planners say Trump accounts could give children a new way to build tax-free retirement savings through Roth IRAs, creating what one tax attorney described as a legal backdoor that was previously unavailable to most minors. In a CNBC report published Wednesday, Adam Bergman, founder of IRA Financial, said the structure of Trump accounts allows children to begin building retirement assets even without earned income, a requirement that normally prevents most minors from contributing to a Roth IRA. Trump accounts create a legal backdoor into a Roth IRA that does not require a child to have earned income, something that was simply not possible before. Trump accounts, also known as 530A accounts, are tax-advantaged investment accounts for children created under President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Eligible children can receive a $1,000 government-funded contribution, while families, employers, and other contributors can add money over time. This is huge. Now, you know CFRN's been around since 2005. Way back in 2006, 20 years ago, my dearly departed co-host, John, the gentleman with the British accent, he was preaching this 20 years ago. He's gone, and it's come to pass. He also preached gold for 20 years, and once he passed, and it hit $5,000. Not doing so well right now, but yep, things will turn around, right? A dying satellite company sold spectrum to Elon Musk and turned $11.1 billion in SpaceX stock into the Fortune 500's best shareholder return. A beleaguered satellite company on the verge of bankruptcy a year ago has become the Fortune 500's latest success story in shareholder returns. Its stock price soared 430% since the beginning of last year, including nearly 375% in 2025 alone. This is another one of the ways to own a piece of SpaceX today. EchoStar trades under the symbol SATS, which interestingly is down almost 8% on the day, which sits at number 302. EchoStar sits at number 302 on the Fortune 500 list, which was released this past Wednesday. They saw a dramatic turnaround in 2025 after it sold its wireless spectrum to SpaceX in September of 25 for $17 billion, with $8.5 billion paid in cash and then $8.5 billion in equity, or roughly 2 to to 3% of the Elon Musk-led company, SpaceX. With $11.1 billion in SpaceX equities, after SpaceX bought another $2.6 billion in Spectrum in November, EchoStar has gone from a limping business to a mouth-watering public market proxy, ahead of SpaceX initial public offering later this month. Now, this might be one that you say it's already gone too far too fast. I don't know that that's true anymore. I would have cautioned against this years ago, but we're in a different world than we were years ago, obviously. But again, if you buy shares of EchoStar, you will own a piece of the pie before it goes public. And Broadcom closed down 12.6% yesterday, erasing $280 billion in market value, putting it among the biggest single stock wipeouts of the mega cap era. The trigger was Broadcom's AI outlook. The company beat quarterly earnings expectations, but its AI chip sales forecast disappointed investors after a huge run in the stock, pressuring the broader chip trade. That's the hard part about the AI trade right now. The business can still be growing fast, and the stock can still get hit if expectations are even faster. Broadcom's drop ranks near the top in recent mega-cap history. History in the making in the opposite direction. Let's go look at Logic 247. We could talk politics, but yeah, I'm sure you get enough of that already. Logic 247. Currently in week 409. Over the last 409 weeks, we've issued over 22,400 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based simply on market structure, a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Since the markets opened this past Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued a total of 58 alerts. When Valerie did the recap this morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, we were still waiting on the outcome of 9. So that gave us 49 actionable alerts. 5 stop outs. Thought I fixed this. Let me. All right. 49 actionable alerts. We're still waiting on the outcome of 9. Now, some of those may have resolved themselves. I don't know. She did the recap at 7:30 a.m. Eastern this morning. So if there were any shorts in there, they've resolved themselves, I would think. So 49 actionable, 5 stop outs, 10%. I had to do it yesterday because we were at 8% yesterday, and I said, oh, I love being in the single digits. Yeah, whatever. Purpose of the logic alerts is to help you learn how to read a chart. Every logic alert has an entry price, long or short, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. You never actually trade a logic alert. You can still use them to learn how to read the chart. That's really the purpose intended. Of course, you can trade them. It can be hard not to. But again, the real purpose behind them is that you learn to read a chart properly. It's really important if you want to trade for a living. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. 409 weeks is a long time. Very long time. Over 7.5 years. But years before we introduced Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. They're different in a lot of different ways. But for the purpose of this discussion, I'll just say this. They typically come out 5 minutes ahead of the Globex open each evening. So, the Friday session we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. But 5 minutes before the market opened, all of our traders had all of these targets. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. So let's go look at the charts and see exactly what happened. Now, as we go through the individual charts, and you see those targets drawn out on the individual charts, just keep in mind what happened. Oh, okay. Something went wonky there for a minute, but there it is. Okay, you'll remember earlier in the week, I drew in this little orange line right here. Potential support. We've now made it all the way to the daily BBC. This is the first time price has touched the BBC since this day right here, April 8th. Now, price always reverts to the mean. In our lingo, that means a pullback to the BBC. In our case, the mean is this green line right here. BBC just stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. It's pretty simple. But the main takeaway here is price always reverts to the mean. Price always comes back to the green line. Something's happening with my computer. I don't know what it is. I already had to reboot my router and my cable modem this morning. See up here it says not responding. Now it's responding. What the heck is going on? All the lights are lit up on the router and the cable modem. Just run a quick speed test and see what's really going on. Boy, that don't look good. No siree. It's not even responding. Huh. Wow. Hate it when that happens. Maybe they're having the problem. Right. Yeah. Probably not. Let's see what Ookla's got to say. Now this morning, when I rebooted everything, I normally have 300 megabits per second. After I rebooted, I was at over 600, which is unusual. So that tells me there's some kind of something that isn't right. See, it's giving me what I'm supposed to get now. That's 600 this morning, and that really looked nice. Shame it didn't stick around. I think these guys must be What? Oh, come on. Really? There you go. And so now we're back to over 500 with an upload speed of over 100. Okay. Well, I've satisfied my curiosity. All right, so now that we're at the BBC, we know that the pullback holds, price always reverts to the mean, and the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. But eventually it will trade through. Now, for us to go this long without touching the BBC, again, chart's not responding. Here, let me shut some things down and see if that helps anything. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I may have to text Michael and see if he wants to join early. All right. So the reason for this orange line was the low that was put in on this day, May 28th, because it aligned with right here. You see where the black step line went back to the left side of blue and climbing? That's unusual because when the step line crosses to the right side, we should get a pullback to the BBC like we did up here, okay? That's what it's supposed to look like. So the fact that price crossed back in the other direction, that made this a very important price, important area. And as you can see, that's where the low came in on this day, May 28th. Now we're at the BBC, we could spike it. Now the shallowest possible fib retracement. And it takes retracements to keep a bull market healthy. And we have not had a decent retracement. We've not had a 24% retracement in a long time. Okay? So do we keep dropping? That's, I guess, the big question. The next area that you would look for potential support would be this low right here. It's probably not going to pop up. I don't know why my resources are so strained. I shut down the thing that was gobbling up the most RAM. All right. So basically 74.09, that's the low of this candle. Okay. Then the low of this candle, and then the 24. So Sunday night, could we see 73.31? Yeah, maybe. This is a big down day. On the way up, I don't think we had, yeah, we had one day that size or bigger right here. Maybe two. Okay. But again, this was unusual market behavior. This was unusual market behavior. This is how it's supposed to work, how it normally works, how historically it has worked. So the question now is, does this pullback hold? Now, we won't know even if we were to go all the way down to the 24 until we have a candle open and close below the BBC. The pullback's holding. As long as a candle is physically touching, like down here when price moved up, okay, the pullback held and it held, and even on this day, that was a hold because it wasn't until this day, right here, April 9th, we had a candle both open and close above the BBC. So that's when we officially go from bearish to bullish. Okay. Now, we had a huge gap down right there, but we found support at blue and climbing. This has been one of the strongest rallies we've seen in a very long time. But when the market goes up too fast, too strong, without any retracements without any rest along the way. Well, when it does finally top out, it can start to look like 2000 or 2007 or 1987. All right, I don't know if my chart's going to allow it or not, but we'll see. Trying to go to the 30-minute chart here. The vertical lines separate today, Friday. Here's Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Back over here is Monday. The horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. Those are published every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've published the zones for our members every Monday for over 16 years. In fact, we're closing in on 17 years. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. When price drops to a zone, we look for support until proven otherwise. Support sends you to resistance, resistance sends you to support, and then the bottom falls out. Yep, looks like this dog ain't gonna hunt. So there's the low of the session. That officially puts us below the lowest weekly trading zone for the week. Now, earlier in the week, it looked like we were going to make a run at the highest weekly trading zone. And that didn't happen. Yeah, let me see if I can get Michael in here a little early, because I'm going to have to reboot or call somebody. Or maybe I'll just scream and throw things. It's an option. All right, let me go to Telegram and see if I can roust him. Now, Telegram's working fine. I'll just send him a message. He's probably away from his computer right now. All right, well, is it going to work? No. Don't look like it. The heck is the problem? As soon as I click that chart, not responding. Maybe my charts just can't handle it. Here, let me go look. See what's happening over here. Well, these are working just fine. So apparently it's something going on with the servers over at Gain Capital, which I insist on using because I'm so resistant to change. Yep. Guess I'm gonna have to bite the bullet. I was forced to do it a couple Sunday nights ago when somebody forgot to flip the switch. So yesterday we found resistance at the next to the highest weekly zone. No, there was two more zones overhead. And now we've dropped below the lowest weekly zone. I'd like to see at least where we are on the other markets. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, I messaged Michael, so I guess we'll just have to wait. To become a member, get a hold of Valerie. You can call her at 949-42 Emini. You can email her support@cfrn.net. If you choose to call, you'll probably get her email or voicemail. Leave a message, she will call you back. Let her know that you're interested in becoming a member. She will send you an email that has all the information you need to make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not what we do is right for you. Once you make up your mind and become a member, you get 2 hours of live training every trading day. 9 out of 10 new traders fail just because they don't have anyone to teach them how to trade. There's lots of people that'll say indicators and oscillators and bots and all sorts of whatnots. But finding someone that will spend 2 hours a day with you every trading day, helping you learn the business of trading, it's pretty rare. If you find it anywhere else, I'd like to hear about it. On top of the 2 hours of live training every day, you also get private one-on-one mentoring. No extra charge, all you got to do is ask. The strategy that you learn and the indicators that you use as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs. Doesn't matter because price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's just how markets work. As a passport holder, you'll get the Logic 247 alerts round the clock. You get the concierge trade alerts every evening, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get the weekly trading zones. And we've reset our summer schedule for the weekly workshops. I think we're going to go to 1 a month or 2 a month. Because we know a lot of people are taking time off on vacation, etc. You all should have gotten an email and a notice in Telegram regarding that. And as a passport holder, you get the golden keys to open all the private channels in Telegram. There's quite a few. It's everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Let's take one more shot at these charts. Yeah, that's definitely not responding. That's so weird. They work just fine all morning. Been using them all morning. Wow. All right. Let me shut these down because that's just going to make matters worse. cancel. I assume once that decides to respond again, it will cancel that. Yep, there it goes. And then the same thing. All right, I'll shut this down. Don't need to drain the resources any more than they're being drained already. All right, still 4 minutes till Michael, so yeah, that's not right. Yeah, I need to shut that whole thing down. Anyway, probably squeeze in our good word for the day before Michael arrives. Developing a spiritual mindset. Those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. That's Romans 8:5. Muscle memory isn't stored in your muscles. It's a procedural memory that is stored in your brain anytime you repeat a muscle movement. Whether it's putting putting a golf ball or playing a violin, the muscle memory becomes stronger the more it is repeated. Have you heard about the 10,000 hour rule? Psychologists say that's the amount of time it takes to become an expert at anything. That's encouraging because it means anybody can do it, but it's discouraging because it means there are no shortcuts. No matter how smart or gifted you are, just like a foreign language, developing a spiritual mindset is a learning curve. Can you imagine being frustrated on the first day of a foreign language class because you aren't fluent? That's how we often feel when we aren't fluent in prayer, or strong in faith, or disciplined in our habits. Psalm 84:7 says we go from strength to strength. You'll be working on this for the rest of your life, one day at a time. You'll keep benchmarking. Your faith ceiling becomes your faith floor. Terms of joy, fulfillment, and power with God. Those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. The mind governed by the flesh equals death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. That's Romans 8:5 and 6. And that's our good word for today. Oh, so now you want to play ball. Okay. All right, here's where we opened last night on the Dow. Pull back to the BBC. We had that huge leg yesterday. Massive. 900 point down, the Dow, I think it was. But the pullback held. And we hit the long target, which was based off right there where blue turned to red yesterday. Okay. We hit the target, and then we consolidated at the target, and then we poked through it. And now we just, on the last 30-minute candle, hit the short target. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Dwayne. Hey, what did you show for silver? I didn't see your silver analysis.
Oh, it's pretty brutal.
Oh, I know, but what did it show yesterday? This is the 30-minute chart.
Yeah, I was looking for a low at 74.34, but we ripped right through that. And then we came right back up to the weekly trading zone to the tick. And now we're below the lowest weekly trading zone, I think, on just about everything. My charts have kept freezing up this whole broadcast. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I sent you a message in Telegram. So
Oh,
on the
okay.
ES, we're below the lowest weekly zone today. The Dow, we're not because of that huge run up we had yesterday.
Hmm.
On the Russell, we're not below the lowest weekly zone yet. On the NQ, we officially now are, as of this candle right here.
That's awesome. The reason I ask is because silver.
Here's crude sitting at that weekly zone again. Remember, we found support back here last week. Then we got above the zone. Now we come back. So anyway, what were you going to say about silver?
I was going to say silver. And a put from where's your silver chart? That's your CT.
Oh, silver right here. Here's silver.
Yeah, I had shown a put from 67, but with the information like what I'm talking about in the future, yesterday when you were going over your stuff yesterday, show me where you went over it yesterday. Right in there, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, the vertical lines separate today, Friday. This is Thursday. This is Wednesday. And I don't remember what the CTA targets were yesterday.
Okay.
But we got above the BBC, and the pullback held, and we ran up to the next zone. We almost made it to the next zone. Things are starting to look pretty good. We're back above $75. And then suddenly today we find ourselves at 69. I didn't think...
Yeah.
I thought we were done with the 60s. I thought for sure the lowest weekly zone would hold. And it's possible we could recover some and get back above it by close of business today, but it doesn't look so good. And we got major resistance right here where the bearish cross took place. So gonna have to do some work to get above that.
Excellent.
If Trump doesn't finish this job,
he will eventually.
He's gonna have a hard time looking himself in the mirror. I mean,
he will eventually.
I know he wants to give peace a chance. Yeah, so did all the hippies back in the 60s. But
well, the difference between then and now is that we destroyed all their leadership over there. So who's in charge?
The one-legged gay Ayatollah.
Yeah, I know. That's why I suspect the negotiations have taken so long because nobody wants to. Well, there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians over there, probably.
Well, and as I discussed earlier in the broadcast, all this, we'll probably have a deal this weekend. Okay, so somebody shows up and signs some piece of paper. I'm sorry, but after 47 years of lies, deception, and chance of death to America, I don't put a whole lot of stock. I mean, even in the ceasefire, they won't stop shooting. So what is signing some piece of paper going to do? Make us look even more stupid? I don't know. I'm just getting frustrated with the whole thing. But anyway.
Yes.
You ready?
I'm ready. I can take it. Here it comes. There it is. All right. I was having trouble doing. I couldn't publish the web page. I tried on several different computers, on different browsers, on different computers, and I could not get the web page published. It keeps saying, "Uh-oh, try again later." I went into the account to see if there's anything going on in the account, and there's not. So I don't know what the deal is. I have to call them.
But you are able to log in with that new password we created the other day?
Yeah. Yep, I logged right in. Oh, that's good. It doesn't publish. I'll try it again in a few minutes here.
All right.
But for right now, let's get into this.
Okay.
I can't update the web page is what I'm saying. So when I click on this, it's going to be the old one. It's not going to be the new one.
Gotcha, guys. So.
Anyway, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 5th day of June, 2026. Now, normally if you click on the purple button right here, you'll be able to take the free trial. We will get that going again. If you want to take the free trial, just email us at support@mytradingiq.com and say you want to take the trial. Okay, we'll get you all the information you need. We should have this fixed by the end of the day. They have a problem with GoToWebinar right now. Not GoToWebinar. GoDaddy. But anyway, there's no credit card required for the trial. And usually when you click on that, it's going to bring you to this page where all we need is your name, your email, and your phone number. And once you give us all that, then we'll give you all the information that you need to get into the room in the morning. Okay? Okay. So let's look at the recap for today. We actually had a really good day. It's our best day since like the beginning of April. Is that right? Yeah, it's the best day since April 6th, I think. Anyway, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. We're up 183 ticks on the NQ, 83 on the Russell, 41 on the YM, and 45 on the ES. That put us at $1,842.50 a contract. Today it took 6 minutes and 3 trades to get to $1,000, and I purposely stopped at 1,000. I took 2 ticks on the Russell to get to exactly the goal for the day. And we took a total of 35 trades with 2 stop outs. So 94% of our trades were break even or better. Look at these numbers. These percentages are just going up and up and up now that we're getting more trades again. I mean, they were good before. Anywhere in the 80s is always good. And so we averaged 84% last month. So far this month, if I took all of these out of here, I bet our average, well, it'll still be about the same thing. I guess we had an 80 there, and 85 there, 90 there, and 94 there. Be closer to 90, but anyway, $1,842.50. 1 month now, we're at $5,680 over 5 business days, averaging $1,136 per contract per 2-hour business day. And down here at the bottom, we hit $100,000 with 1 contract today, $100,300 over 94 business days, averaging $1,067 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you quit trading when you got the goal for the day and did everything exactly like I did, you'd be on your 6th contract right now. You would have only had to work 14 and a half hours, and you'd be up $45,392.50. So 14 and a half hours of work, $45,000. That's not too bad. That averages out to $3,137 per hour. Okay, $3,137 per hour. Now, that's it. Let's get into it. Okay, we had a fair amount of trades, not on the Russell today. We didn't have much on the Russell at all, but we did get the goal for the day on the Russell. Our first trade on the Russell was right here, and we got 2 ticks on that. That's where we got the goal for the day. And the next one, we picked up 14 ticks. That got us to 16, and then we went to 21. We had 5 there, and then we went to 32, so we had 11 there. And that was it for the Russell today. I mean, it's not in a position for a trade right now. It didn't paint that last bar, but it's still not in position for a trade right now. Okay, not the way it sets. Now, the YM, we had a fair number of trades on the YM. Everything else, we had a pretty good number of trades on. The YM's actually got a short right here. If I can find my DOM, I can still try to put it on. I can find my DOM. Can I still try to put it on? I can. Doesn't look like it's gone to profit at all. So it would be a short off the mid band right here. It's kind of close to the YBR right here at the bottom. Moved up as this came out of the oversold. I mean, the red down here is what I mean. That moved up, so it's kind of a questionable trade. We do have potential shorts on both of these markets over here to go with it. Now, the YM, we ended up with plus 41 on the YM today. And this was our first trade right here. Picked up 10 ticks on that one. Went to 20. Then we went to 42, 47. Then we stopped out down to 21. And then went to 31, 36, then 41. And that was where we ended it. Okay, and that brings us current. So right here, this right here was a shorting opportunity right there at 211 was the spot to actually short that. All right, and the ES is not giving you a short right here. It didn't come out of the overbought. The NQ didn't hit the mid band, so it's not giving you a short. But the YM is still going right now. That could possibly turn into something. The ES today, we had a good number of trades on the ES too. You can see there were a couple of spots in here where it hit pretty well. I want to go all the way over here now on this guy. I think we started earlier than that. Yeah, we did. Here we are. Okay, on the YM. Did we get any even before that? Nope. Okay. So this is the ES, sorry. On the ES, our very first trade was right here. We picked up 1 tick there, then 4 more there to get us to 5. And then Went from 5 to 15. Went 5 to 15, and then we stopped out and went down to 5. And then had a break even, and we went from 5 back to 13, and then 13 to 23, and then 23 to 31, and then 31 to 39, and 39 to 45. And that is where we ended it on the morning session for the ES. It did have a ton of movement today, though. The ES did have a ton of movement. Okay. That was the ES. It didn't have a trade here. And the YM trade, now from where I took it, it ended up giving me a +5, I think. Let me just go see. No, it gave me a +1. I'll show you. Okay. It should have given me a +5, but it slipped. I shorted at 12.13 and got one tick at 12.14. That's the other way around. I lost one tick, so it slipped me 6 ticks. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. It slipped me 6 ticks. So I lost one tick. Let me write that down. That's the other way around. All right, the NQ. There were no trades in here on the NQ right at the moment, but let's go back to the beginning on the NQ. Now, that's got a lot of bars, so I'll just do it this way. All right. So on the NQ, here we go. Our first trade on the NQ, we picked up, I think it was 8 ticks. Yeah, it was 8 ticks on the first trade, and then we stopped out and put us at -28. Then we picked up 20 there to get us to -8. And then we went from -8 to +20 out of +2. And then went from 2 to 14 and 14 to 20. And then 20 to 28 and 28 to 40 and 40 to 50 and 50 to 72 and 72 to 82 and 82 to 92 and 92, that was a big one right there finally. 92 to 144 and then 144 to 166. And we had one more in here somewhere that went 166 to 183. And that is where we wound up with the NQ today. Okay, that is where we ended. This is not a trade here because this one didn't go full cycle. This was a trade here that probably would have given me 10 ticks if I was paying attention. But that was it. That was a whole morning, right? And it is now, we'll say it's 11:14, so I'll have 16 minutes in a second. If you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingIQ.com, click on the purple buttons, no credit card required. Right now, that's not going to work. If you try to do it right now, it's not going to work. So send us an email at support@mytradingIQ.com. But right now is 1:13 on Friday, the 5th day of June. By the end of the day, we should have that working again. It's just a hiccup with GoDaddy right now. Okay, so let's get in there and trade some if we can. There are no trades here, no trades here, and no trades here right now. Does anybody have any questions about anything at this point? We need an up close followed by a down close here on the NQ. There's the up close, now we need the straight down close. That would be a trade over there on the NQ if we get a down close. Okay, and the ES needs an up close followed by a down close. The Russell's got nothing. The YM's got nothing. There's the NQ, and I was in it, and it just took me out of it. So let's go see what we got out of that. I sold 375, and I bought back at 150. So that is 275, 175 is 2.25 points, 9 ticks. Sorry, yeah, 9 ticks. That was right there. This is not a trade. This is not a trade, and that is not a trade. I'll show you that in Q. I'm pretty sure I counted it right. Here it is. that to that. Is it 9 ticks or 11 ticks? 375, 275, 175. That's 8. It's 9 ticks. Ow. This did not pay. All right. Let's see. We have a nice move down right here. So if it pulls back, we might have another opportunity on the short side on everything right now. Okay. And what I say, we had 16 minutes, right? And so far we got one more trade in those 16 minutes. So on the ES, I don't think it's going to make it up to the overbought on an up close. The NQ will on an up close. Okay, the ES missed it. You see, the NQ's a trade though. Here's the NQ trade. It looks like it almost stopped us out right there. Let's put it back over here. We need a down close on this bar for sure. Okay, if we get that down close, we should be good with this trade. If we don't, we're going to stop up. And we didn't, and we stopped up. Okay. Okay. And now it's going to go down. Oh man, nothing on the ES. Nothing here, nothing here. So far in this session, we had a little bit there. A stop out there. It was a full red one there. And on the YM, it was a little bit of red one. Oops. This guy. A little bit of red. You can't even see it. Make it big. All right. Questions? Anyone? Everyone? All right, the ES just needs a down close here. It was not printing right now. There it is. Okay, so that's got a high up at 58. So 56 is what you'd sell on that. 56 is what I sold on that. I should go all the way down here. Just one. I should go all the way down here. 2. Oops, I didn't mean to drop at 5 there, but I did. What was that number that I said it should go down to? It's going down to it right now. It was 74.51. 74.51. I didn't mean to drop it at 5. Got a lot more in that if I didn't. But anyway, it's a profitable trade. All right. And the number that I was looking at was right here at 74.51. That's what it's trying to get down to. All right. Breaking news. Some stupid liberal judge. Seems to me 1,100 point drop in the Cuban minus 3.5%. I know that's not going to hit it. That's not going to hit it. This didn't touch the mid band. All right, we need to flip the YBR over here on the NQ. Okay, there it is. It's a nice big run up. I was just thinking of something. Where is it? Do I have it open up here anywhere? I do. 122, I have to meet with Darren. This has a high of 58, so you'd be selling 56 on that. 56 on the Russell right now. Everything else is running up, so I hope we don't get the Russell trade, but the thing that I was thinking about was, do I have it in here anywhere? No, let's just look right here. Now we want, on the Russell, we still just want the down close. I think the high is still in the same place, right? 8.2s would be 6.2 is what you'd sell on. It's like this. We don't have anything on these guys. We're going to flip the YBR here. I almost hope the Russell does give us the trade, but we'll see. If it closes up, if this bar closes up, we're not going to have a trade on the Russell. Okay, but this is what it looks like right now. So we'll see what happens. No trade here. There it is. No trade here. Good. I didn't want to have a trade there. So SOXS. Now, that's the SOX short. So that goes up when semiconductors go down. And it goes down when everything goes up. The reason I'm pointing that out is because usually, from an option perspective, the difference in price between the SOXS and the SOXL is significant, really significant. like 10, 20 times. And today, I mean, the SOXS is usually a bunch cheaper. Today, if I look at the SOXS semiconductor and look at next week's, right now they're $89 a piece. And the XOSL, which is the opposite side of that, is $3.80, $5.80, actually $5.50. So it's about 7 times right now. The TQQQ. What's that price at right now? 93 cents. About the TQQQ. 43 cents. Yes. 40 cents by 20 cents. Those are all today's expiration. Next week. It's a $1.50. Interesting. All right. So
how'd it go?
it's still going. We got 3 trades so far. 4 trades. We got 2 on the NQ, 1 on the YM, and 1 on the ES.
Gotcha.
And what time is it? Oh, it's 1:28. Gosh, I didn't even notice that. So, yeah, I think we're right about break even altogether. No, we're actually not ready to break even altogether. We're negative a little bit right now, but we still have a minute left. It could happen. We need the NQ to give us a long trade, so we need a down close followed by an up close, or the ES to give us a long trade. That'd be a down close followed by an up close. Well, Russell give us that short trade I didn't really want. We're a little bit negative right now. We're minus 27 on the NQ, minus 1 on the YM, and plus 5 on the ES.
Oh, we just need an up close here on the NQ.
Yep. Yeah, it could be the NQ trade we're looking for right now.
There
it is. Ding, ding. Get up there. There's 10 ticks. There's 12. There's more than 12. There's a whole bunch. There's all 50. There we go.
Nice job.
And it's a win. And the ES gave 1 too.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's just write down the NQ for right now. Let me see if I got 50 or more or less. It looked like it gave all of it, but let's see. The NQ. 2450. It actually gave more. It went from 2450 up to 3825. So about almost 14 points. So that would be 13 is 52. 53, 54, 55. I gave 55 ticks. 55 ticks.
Nice.
All right. So we ended up with plus 28 on the NQ.
Looks like it wants to keep going.
It does. It sure does. Let's put that in the bottom here for today. We end up with a green day today. Let me add a couple down here. Oops, did I do that wrong? All right, our 105th day since we've been keeping track, and today is 6/5. And on the NQ, we're going to end with plus 28. On the Russell, nothing. On the YM, -1. And on the ES, +5. Okay, so whatever that is, it's a nice positive number. 1975. And we'll copy this down. Copy. Paste. This was a 16. And in here, we had 4, 5, 6 trades with 1 stop out. Okay. And this needs to be a 105. Is that right? Looks like it. Okay. So we did get the goal for the day. Again, in this session, guys, we were 28 ticks on the NQ. On the NQ, we had actually 4 trades, I think. We had a +9, then a stop out, then no, only 3 trades on the NQ. A +9, then a stop out, then a +55. That got us up to 28. And on the YM, we had just 1 trade with 6 ticks to slip. We ended up with -1 tick on that. And on the ES, we had just 1 trade with 5 ticks. So it puts us at $1,975 with 10 contracts, or $197.50 with 1 contract. So it's almost twice the goal in these 16 minutes today. We took 6 trades with 1 stop. Actually, but it's 5 trades. Right, 3, 4, 5. 5 trades with 1 stop out. So 80% of our trades are break even or better in this session. And in all of these sessions, we're averaging about 16.5 minutes of trading time, and we are getting the goal for the day on average every single session. Right? So again, I'm going to try to update this, but if you haven't taken a free trial with us, go here at mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required. If for whatever reason that goes to webinar ended, send us an email at support@mytradingiq.com, support@mytradingiq.com, and just say you want to take the trial. Just put trial in the subject, okay, and we'll get you straightened out. Right now, there's a problem with GoDaddy, so I'll try to get that fixed again right now. Hopefully, they got it worked out on their end. And that is it.
If you need me to do anything, let me know.
Okay. All right. I'll let you know. But so far, that's it. We can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is just about ready.
Yep. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 6 minutes and 3 trades to get to $1,000.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we covered everything as best we could today since my charts were all froze up. But you get the gist of it. It's a big down day. We already covered how to become a member. We already even did our good word for the day because we couldn't do anything else. So I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.